Okay, let me get the link for YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Did you send it to McNulty?
He doesn't want to be on.
Oh, what's up with that?
He had to go. He said.
Oh, okay.
Here we are.
He didn't feel so good.
I don't know. You had something to do
Oh, it was just,
at 11 o'clock at night.
Hey, Brad, I don't know this is Zach is there, so.
Well, see, that's the thing, Brad. He's on the West Coast.
So it's like midnight for him.
No, it's like 9 for him. It's like 9.
Oh, yeah. Wrong coast. Sorry.
God damn.
Sorry.
Wow.
midnight for me.
Yep. He has the rest of his life to get back to, unlike those of us on the East Coast, or Eastern Standard Time, that is.
Hey, I got one more podcast I'm putting in tomorrow. I'm going to interview
When we're already playing with fumes.
that Atari designer. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be kind of
That's
fun.
really cool.
Yeah. George, did you have that game in the 80s?
I did not. I couldn't find it anywhere around here. My dad took me to like every damn Sears.
Oh, so you were looking for it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we couldn't find it.
Oh, wow.
Zach is demanding that you send him the link, Brad.
I did. It's in his Gmail. All right, I'll send it to him on his Facebook. How's he demanding it?
Well, he's demanding it on the YouTube thing.
Comment section.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Zach. I sent to you on Gmail chat. There you go. It's on your Facebook now. Hello, 12 viewers. Thanks for sticking around. George, were you able to put it up on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for sticking around.
All right, I'm here now. Thanks, buddy.
Well, hey, did you not get the instant chat on Gmail?
No.
That's where I sent to everybody else.
I never saw it.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Spencer brought in an addition to his costume.
What's
I found
that?
the rest of Ben Riley. I found him.
Why did
Hang on, I didn't see it. What did he do?
Hold it right up to the camera. There you go.
Oh,
Pillsbury's best.
I hate you all now. You're off the Christmas list there.
Spencer, you've redeemed yourself in my eyes.
Yes. That's funny. Uh-oh. He's putting it on, George. Now you're in his bad graces, Spencer.
That's okay, because if he messes with me, I'll put him in that bag.
Oh my god.
That escalated freaking quickly.
I'm not your father.
Unwarranted.
Yeah, now he don't feel so good.
I don't want to go.
All right.
Please,
By the
Mr.
way,
George.
I don't want to go. That was good. Here. Spencer should hold on to JR and say, I don't want to go.
The absolute savagery of that.
That's funny. That was really funny.
By the way, we have some friends of ours that are fans of this of our show that have not seen Infinity War yet. So if we can, they've requested on our review show not to do spoilers.
Too late. We just did.
No, not really. Not really.
Not,
He's talking about it on the podcast, and
yeah.
Well, we didn't even. There is no context scene that was Infinity War.
yeah, we didn't explain what was going on there.
All right. We will try to avoid spoilers if possible. Okay, are we ready? JR, is your inner goblin ready?
Oh,
Yeah, he's here.
Okay, good. All right, coming down in 3.
Here comes the terrifying part.
I know. 1. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our review show. We've got 3 issues we're going to tackle. Let's introduce the panel. We've got the goblin himself, JR. What's going on, JR?
Just practicing, getting ready here.
And we have Harry Osborne, a.k.a. Spencer, on the line. What's going on, Spencer?
Not much. Just watching this.
Going to take care of the rest of his costume. So,
audio listeners, Spencer, JR's son, is wearing a Scarlet Spider hoodie. He is also holding a bag of flour. And someone who enjoys that is George. What's going on, George?
oh, not much. Just ready to get through with this. After this issue, we only have to suffer 2 more slots, and by we, I mean y'all, because I'm not doing 800.
Yeah.
So after this, all I have to worry about is 801, and then we're slot free.
Slot free.
It's like the doctor saying you're cured of herpes. When like there's no cure for it. Suddenly you're like, oh my God, I've got a new lease on life.
And we've got Zach. What's going on, Zach?
I'm kind of excited to talk about the Free Comic Book Day issue. I'm not gonna lie.
Cool. And we have Ashley. What's going on, Ashley?
I'm glad we're getting Amazing Spider-Man out of the way first because,
Nah. Okay. All right. So another Goblin-centric comic goes to our Goblin-centric critic, JR. What's going on with $7.99 of Amazing? Are you going down swinging 3?
Because the fans demanded it, I guess I'm still doing these Red Goblin stories.
You bet.
All right. Okay. So anyway, the story opens up with Peter Parker announcing to all of his friends, okay, guys, I'm going to make an unwelcome reference to Spider-Man Homecoming by calling myself the man in the chair, okay? And then I'm going to make a real lame reference to a mediocre 1980s cartoon that certain people have way too many fond remembrances of. So anyway.
What was the 80s cartoon? I don't get, what was that?
Yeah, on page 2 or whatever, Peter says, and I've got the greatest asset of all, some pretty amazing friends.
Oh, there you go. Okay, got it.
Boy, you guys, hello, McFly. You know,
another 80s reference.
But savage.
So anyway, the Human Torch is flying around Stark Tower to look after Mary Jane, and she says, "Well, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's been going on the last 10 years or so, Peter, but this is Tony Stark's world, and you're just living in it, chump. So that's why I'm in Stark Tower." And then Miles is out looking after Aunt May, and he says, I'm watching out for your Aunt May, but don't worry, I won't let her see me because I don't want her to freak out when she sees and Peter says, "Whoa, not here, Miles, not here. We don't want any snowflakes to completely misunderstand the joke." And then Silk says, "Well, this is the second stupid ass legacy character here, looking out for everyone at the Daily Bugle." So, and then Spidey calls Flash / Anti-Venom, who knows what's going on because he just rescued Jonah. And then he calls Clayton / Clash with a rather clever opening line, which, this is your conscious talking, which I kind of thought that was clever. But he also says, "Clayton, I know this is probably going to be one of your last chances to appear in a comic book because Dan Slunt's leaving the title and won't be consistently trying to make you happen. But could you look after Harry Osborn and his family for me?" Speaking of Harry, we're back at Liz Allen's deluxe apartment in the Sky where the mystery nanny, who won't be a mystery for much longer, just took away the little Osborns. And Liz says, "Well, don't worry, I can find them because I chipped Normie." Of course, Harry, being the nervous little wuss that he is appalled that Liz did that. And Liz said, "Well, she's a CEO billionaire, I want to know where my kid is all the time." But what Liz really should have told him was, "Besides, your father's a notorious supervillain. I knew he'd do something like this someday himself, he was going to do it, you snowflake. So that's why I did this." So anyway, so John gets back home and he wants to warn Peter about Norman. But Peter says, "I already know that Norman's back and that Norman already knows and who I am again." He goes, "Holy cow, Jonah, what happened to your face? You look like Arseface from Preacher." And boy, these are not landing at all. What is going on here?
I've been muted half of these.
What?
I was muted for half of them, so I was.
The chat wants to know if the cookies that Spencer is eating is made with Ben Riley flour.
I hate you all.
How to trigger Zach Joyner? Let everyone else around you do it.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going, JR.
I don't know if I want to. This is not going well at all. Anyway. So Peter, stares down, Jonah, and Jonah says, "Sorry, Pete, but Osborn kept tickling me with a feather, and you know how ticklish I am, and I couldn't stand it anymore, and I just cracked." And then Peter decides to give Jonah an evil stare down because, instead of thinking, well, Norman should have figured it out anyway. I mean, he knew for years anyway. I never thought it would last forever. Peter could have thought, well, he's got the Carnage symbiote and the Carnage symbiote doesn't set off my spider sense. So all he had to do was follow me around till I got home. But no, we have to have this silly little complication or whatever where Peter stares at Jonah. Well, anyway, we go to the Port Authority where the Osborn family catches up with the mysterious nanny and the kids. And mysterious nanny says, "You bunch of dumbasses. I wasn't working for Norman. I was trying to get the kids away from him in the first place." And here's where it finally gets good. Norman shows up. "Too late. Surprise. Who's got a kiss for Grandpa?" Oh! And look who's here. Do you know how much continuity and flashbacks you're going to screw up by being here, you old ball and chain? Of course, we find out that the mystery nanny is none other than the supposedly late Emily Osborne, wife of Norman, mother of Harry. No, I don't like it. I'm going to get that out of the way right now. And I can just see in issue 800, when everyone wants an explanation, I can just see Norman saying, well, yeah, I called her the late Mrs. Osborne, not because she was dead, but because she never got anywhere on time. That's why I dumped her ass. It's not my fault you thought I meant she was dead. So I can just, I mean, I
That's
really
probably more effort than Slot actually did.
What is that echo sound? It sounds like there's a clap or someone's got the, no, I mean, it is just, sorry. Are you moving the microphone on your desk, JR, or something? Is it moving?
No.
It's only when I'm talking.
That's
Well,
weird.
then Zach, don't talk. Problem solved.
George.
So anyway, well, the Torch and Clash show up. They hit Norman with fire and sound, and guess what? It doesn't work because the Goblin formula helps negate all that other stuff and makes the symbiote resistant to those, which is good because that would have been a too obvious way to end this. But
Yeah.
So Norman dispatches Torch and Clash, and that sounds like either a bad Disney Channel show. Is that Torch and Clash?
Torch and
Sounds like
Clash.
a bad Disney Channel show. Anyway,
I love how
So-
he had a 16-year-old back. He actually still watches Disney Channel.
so Norman. No, you don't?
Netflix, come on.
Oh, so anyway, Norman dispatches the Torch and Flash as well as the Spider Fakes when they get there. But Anti-Venom does give him some heartburn. But Norman gives Flash a Hobson's choice when he realizes that when Flash realizes the superheroes that Norman has taken out are going to die unless he touches them. So Norman uses that opportunity to take Anti-Venom down. So Peter changes to Spider-Man. And goes to the port because even with the ultimatum that Norman gave him, he just can't let Norman kill everybody. But he's still got the busted leg, and then Flash touches him and heals him.
Oh no.
Do you feel healed? There we go. So Norman tracks down the rest of the Osborns and grabs a hold of Normie and gives him the Carnage symbiote and says, welcome, kiddo, to the family business. So
right.
It's to be concluded.
All right, let's go around the horn for grades. JR, what's your grade?
I gave it a B.
Spencer, what's your grade?
Oh, after that presentation, oh man. A right there.
An A. George, what's your grade?
D+.
D+. Ashley.
D-.
Zach.
C+.
C+.
The amount of salt in Spencer's and sarcasm in Spencer's statement
love
is
it.
typical teenager, which is great.
B+ out of me. JR, what was your grade one more time?
B.
B. What's your pros out of it, JR?
I would have given it an A except for the Emily, bringing the Emily thing.
Why did that bother you? Why did that bother you? Why the Emily return bother you?
Well, first of all, that's a very key piece of the Osborne mythology that she's gone. This may have been the one person that Norman Osborn actually gave a rat's ass about, and that her death is part of what unhinged him a little bit, and also the fact that she wasn't around, because Norman was a crappy father, and the fact that there was no mother. I mean, and there was no mother around to balance the equation. Plus, remember when the Amazing Spider-Man 2, the scene that was originally filmed with the father at the cemetery. And the reason they cut it out was because they tested it, and people hated that scene because it was like, no matter what he's afraid of or thinking, he's not going to let his son believe he was dead for that long.
Yeah.
And that's the same case here. What can they? To me, this is just a gimmick that Slot rolled out. A gotcha, a ha-ha, a stunner. There is it has absolutely no story value.
Do you think she'll die in 800?
I don't even want to speculate what I'm afraid that 800 is going to be a bigger turd than what came out of Venom's mouth in that trailer.
Wow.
But no, there's no reason for this. It's just aha, look what I've done. Look at this twist I've thrown into it. That's all I think this is.
He's throwing stuff out that have been dangling threads of the Spider-Verse for years.
I mean, if Emily had left because Norman was such a badass, why did she not take her son with him? The only explanation is that she's been in a coma or whatever, or maybe she's a clone. Maybe Norman cloned her or whatever to throw everybody off, and that I wouldn't mind that actually. That would kind of be.
Slot answered the Loki favor. He answered what happened to Emily Osborne. Do you think he will do Facade before he leaves?
That's not even funny to think about.
Yeah.
That's not even funny. You're a sadist.
I guess so.
This screams. This is almost exactly what they did with Harry Osborn in One More Day. They just brought him back. No explanation. No. Suddenly Harry's back and he's had, 15 wives and he suddenly acts more like James Franco than he ever fucking did. Self-edit there. You have to give me credit for that one.
All right, pros.
Hey, we've got a teenager in the room who never heard a cuss word in his life. He never used one either.
He watches Netflix. Don't even go there.
Okay, JR, let's do pros before we go to cons. JR, your biggest pros out of this book.
I just like the way Norman came in at the end, and I thought that he sounded like Norman. I mean, I know that not everybody. Yeah, I know that when people try to write jokes for Norman, sometimes it doesn't always work. But I thought everything sounded indigenous to Norman. He's having a great time. I mean, see, this is the thing. Norman likes being the Goblin. And Norman, I mean, you could just tell he's having a blast. He loves this. He loves being able to, throw people around like bowling pins and things like that. I think that comes out.
Do you like that he put this? What is that? What is that? What is that sound?
It's someone trying to speak to us.
That is like aliens talking to us.
Oh my god.
Real quick, do you like that the symbiote went over his grandson?
Well, I figured that was going to happen. I mean, right now there's nothing to like or not like yet until it plays out. Yeah.
Okay. Neil says it's Zach's conscience. It's making the sound. It's a seance. I agree. It's really loud, whatever it is. Okay. Around the horn for pros. Ashley, what was a pro out of you? Or
I liked seeing Liz and Harry as parents. There was kind of something, seeing Harry be like, no, take me instead. That I like that.
Yeah. I like that Spider-Man didn't duck out of a fight for a change. He went in with a broken leg ready to fight.
Yeah,
that's the Spider-Man I know. George, you gave it a D. You didn't give it an F. Any other pros out of you?
Well, the same the same pro that I consistently give most of Dan Slott's most, or that I give the grade that I give the issues that are written by Slott, and that is that the art was really good.
Pro from Enigma says another Oscar-worthy performance by Fettinger. Spencer, what's a pro out of the book that you liked?
The art.
Yeah, I agree. The art, it's beautiful.
Well, at least it's not the cover.
Yeah.
The cover didn't do it for me this time.
Yeah.
Cover's kind of ugly. Zach, a pro out of you?
I like that Miles Morales his little Venom touch didn't sit there and knock him down or knock Norman down. I kind of like the fact that we're not overpowering. We're not still overpowering Miles. Like that's been like his go-to Duke's Ex Machina. Freaking, every time he uses that damn Venom touch, it's like he brought down a freaking Blackheart with that damn thing. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
So no, I like that. Thanks, Dan.
Do you like that Spider-Man was the man in the chair where he has these people on his web to help?
No.
Yeah.
No. I must assemble all of my Spidey buddies. Flash, Clash to my aid, and I'm like,
Flash and Clash.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Why don't you use real other clones of Peter Parker? You've got two of them running around.
Oh, no. We don't want to turn this into a sewer.
Thanks, JR. Appreciate it.
I was about to say if we need some more clones, we could just shake it, and open it up, and there'll be more clones.
I really hope that bag explodes on you.
Shake it.
Oh my gosh! If that flower blew up on Spencer and JR, it'd be epic.
Shake it, and bake it,
That
baby.
serves you right. Is exactly what I would say.
Shake it and bake it.
Shake it and bake it.
Neil says the Spectacular Spider Squad B title team.
It's like, well, it's not even the ones that anybody gives a
Shit. Well, I care for Human Torch, and I care for.
Yeah, I don't mind Human
Miles?
Torch and Miles, maybe. Yes. We'll see.
Okay, cons. JR, what's your biggest cons out of the book?
Obviously, Emily coming back without any particular reason or explanation.
That deserves its own story arc, not just a little. Oh, hey, look, and wait, there's more.
It
did surprise me. It did surprise me. It did surprise you.
No, there's sometimes there's been a surprise like, oh wow, that's a genuine surprise. I didn't see that coming. I would never have seen that coming. But I would, when I saw it, it was like typical crap that Slott would pull. Throw something out there like, oh, isn't this a shocker? And you sit there and you shake your head and go, no, it's not a shocker. It's stupid. So I would say that would be the primary thing.
The fact that
I think he would have asked like the Torch. I think definitely he would have asked Johnny to come to his side. But the rest of them, I don't think so. I don't think he would have asked somebody like Clash to risk his life facing. Like he says, it's Norman Osborn in the Carnage suit. So what am I going to do? I'm going to call in some of the least experienced superheroes in the Marvel universe to face him. Spider Fake, Spider Girl Fake, and like I said, Clash, who is a character Slott keeps trying to make happen. No, I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have brought them in to risk their lives facing Norman Osborn with Carnage symbiote. I just don't think it. To me, it's like a promotion for other comics, is what it is. It's not a genuine Peter calling the people. Why didn't he call if he could get Johnny there? Why not Ben Grimm? Why not? Why not bringing the entire Fantastic Four in? They probably could have handled Norman, but then they're
split. Who he should have brought in was Tony Stark.
No. Here's the other thing.
He's too busy doing Mary Jane in Stark Tower.
Oh God.
Here's another thing that dovetails off the Emily thing, JR.
Yeah.
How the hell did Harry not recognize his own damn mom? What the?
Oh yes, that bugged me.
Now remember, he hasn't seen. He hasn't. To me, these people are not in their 20s; they're in their 30s. Okay.
Yeah.
And if Emily died, she would have been dead 30 years ago, and I don't necessarily know that he would have recognized a woman that he barely knew, that he's only seen in pictures. And then there's this middle-aged woman. For example, I'll give you. I just saw one of Shatner's latest Prime. What's he do? Priceline. I saw him do a new Priceline lately, and I was watching. I was like, "Is that Shatner? Is that really Shatner?" It's like, yeah, it is, because he's So I don't think that Harry would necessarily have recognized her.
Well, why then? This kind of brings me to one of my cons. What was with her whole scheme to just whisk the kids out of there and make herself suspicious as all get out, instead of just being like, hey, talking to Liz and Harry, like, hey, let's get the kids out of here, instead of just setting up this whole sketchy business where she's just running off with the kids, and so we can end the last volume or the last issue with the cliffhanger, like, oh no, is she working with Norman?
Because Slott. Because Slott's got an end game in mind, and he doesn't care how he gets to it.
Yes.
So, but yeah, this is so she's worried about her grandkids, but she let Harry be, verbally abused by this man for 30 odd years. No.
Psychologically abused. Let's not even go beyond. We'll go beyond verbally. He was psychologically abused.
Yeah.
Norman has damaged Harry beyond, pretty well beyond repair. And unless Emily's been in a coma for 30 years, she's let it happen. So, no.
Hey, Spencer, what's some of your cons? What didn't you like about the book?
Not enough clones.
Not enough clones.
Okay, that's good.
All right. Well, what else?
Oh yeah.
Anything
Emily
else?
thing. The Emily thing.
The Emily thing. Yeah.
To me, it's something that deserves its own story arc because it should have a lot of psychological repercussions for both Norman and Harry, and it comes across as so hollow in the context of this story, and it drags it down.
Yeah.
It doesn't enhance it at all.
George, final thoughts on your con. What's your cons?
I guess the reveal was supposed to be shocking or drama-inducing. It was neither.
It surprised me. I mean, it didn't surprise you. I did not expect Emily Osborne to return.
It didn't much care. It's why am I suddenly supposed to give a damn about this character who's really never been popularized in any of the stories?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just get it over with.
Any other points?
I want to add to, I just had a big problem with the dialogue in this issue in particular. Liz saying like, oh, I'm a billionaire businesswoman. Of course I ship my children. I have to agree with JR completely that, or maybe you just love your children and you're kind of wrapped up in some stuff that can really go wrong in an instant, and you want to be able to know where your child is in case something like this happens, because with the position you're in, it's very likely.
I don't know. Let's reference Spider Hunt when he got freaking kidnapped by Norman.
It felt so much like these characters aren't speaking. It was someone talking about the characters through the character's mouth. And it was just really awkward and stilted and forced. And
they're not talking to each other like they really would talk to each other.
It's like Slot talking to himself.
It's Slot talk.
Well, Slot's,
oh my God.
we pointed this out many times. With Slot, the story is always more important. JR just mentioned a minute ago. The end goal is what proper characterization goes out the window.
I loathe the actual writing, the dialogue. It's just it literally like we'll put just I'll cringe. It'll put of distaste down my skin.
Does anybody think Emily Osborne's around after 801?
Will we care?
Does anyone care?
Does anybody think Clash will be around after 801?
Oh my God.
No.
I don't see Spencer using Clash
or Alpha.
Mm-hmm. I have to add, why was Anti-Venom like the biggest doofus in that fight, where he's like fighting him, actually like, oh yeah, I have a way to actually put a mark on him, and then Norman just says, oh look, like pretty much points his finger like, hey look, and Flash looks over like, oh my God, and completely sidetracks. I'm like, are you even like, you were in the military? What kind of reaction is that? Just completely forget that you're in the middle of a fight to run over. Like, I get it, you want to save them, but like kind of, check your peripheral or something.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our second.
It's a classic
book.
I'm sorry, just last thing. It's a classic Slot. The plot driving the characters, not the characters driving the plot.
Plot's driving.
Let's see if Ashley likes this issue better. Spec number 303. Take me through it, Ashley.
All right, so we open with J. Jonah Jameson doing some legwork, trying to find the Tinkerer in the future. He's up at the bank saying, like, hey, have you seen this guy? He's going to rob the bank in 3 days. He's obviously not very successful. Teresa gives him a call to let him know what happened at the about the Daily Bugle being attacked, and what Peter came home to the Parker residence to find, where we left off last issue, when he finds that Norman Green Goblin kind of snapped after having his identity suddenly revealed to the world, and went and retaliated by kidnapping Aunt May and young Peter. So we see Peter exploring the house, and Norman calls his cell phone, which he had found through young Peter's phone, where he had himself listed, and he's like, oh, that's kind of weird. And so he calls the number and manages to put two and two together. He tells Peter, he's got Aunt May, he's got young Peter, and he's gonna you know, like, hey, let's find out what happens with time travel here, you know, have a little experiment. So older Peter's freaking out, just like, don't even think about it, because he's feeling, you know, obviously the antics of the beginning of this arc where they're just kind of running around and he's just having fun, you know, messing around in the past, thinking that it's consequence free. And so he's kind of rightly putting the blame on himself, like, you know, he's panicking, like, this can't be happening. What have I done? You know, this is all my fault. And he's blowing up on Norman. Teresa calls him and he fills her in on what's happening. She says, you know, go take care of this. We managed to get a lead on the Tinkerer, so me and J. Jonah Jameson will take care of this. I don't really know if he's really fishing back up, but that's neither here nor there. So she says, we'll handle this. You go take care of Peter and May. So Teresa and JJJ, they find the warehouse where Tinker's got himself holed up. The gets the jump on him and shoots a little laser thingy that lights the wall on fire. And before she can kind of explain to him why they're there, they have some flammable canisters that blow up and blow the whole building out. So we cut back to Norman and young Peter and Aunt May, where he's got the two tied up at the Washington Bridge.
The Gwen Stacy Bridge, yep.
Yep. Excuse me. And young Peter's kind of still got some fighting spirit left in him, trying to throw in some some jabs and kind of keep him occupied, while older Peter is climbing up the wall very slowly, trying to creep up and get the jump on Norman. But before he can do that, he manages to catch sight of him, blasts some bombs, blasts him off the wall, and flies off with young Peter in tow. And they older Peter goes after him. They kind of had their tussle. We going back to Teresa and JJJ, they're in the wreckage of the Tinkerer's warehouse, where it looks like they're kind of all screwed because they've lost everything that they were that they'd come there to find, the information on the alien invasion. But we have a literal Deus Ex Machina. As a little robot guy comes rolling out of the fire.
Yeah.
And to give them the little tiny little flash drive USB looking thing, saying like, this is what you need. Please, you know, no one needs to get hurt, and, you know, take care of my friend. He's good. He just needs understanding. He's my friend. You know, good. I go, you stay.
You okay, Ashley?
I'll be okay.
You getting choked up?
Your little robot friend. I love him.
Oh my god!
Have you ever seen the movie Short Circuit by chance? From the 80s?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
They're doing a reboot of it.
Oh,
I've heard that too.
Of course they are.
I just think Iron Giant because.
Oh
God.
yeah.
Oh my god. But anyway, he tragically passes. And we go back to Norman and Peter's fight, where they're struggling. He's got young Peter in tow on the cable, but he manages to break free of that. And right when Norman goes to hit the detonator that he's got rigged to where Aunt May is, he manages to swoop in and save her before she falls. And we thankfully don't have a Gwen Stacy moment.
We don't have a snap on the old lady, yeah.
Which, if I remember correctly, older Peter kind of filled younger Peter in on some of the things, like some stories. And I guess that's why he was able to, well, he had an experience Gwen Stacy dying. He knew not to make that same mistake. And he makes a web for her to land on instead of grabbing her with a line.
Right.
And so older Peter managed to get the jump on Norman while he's distracted, throws his head through a truck, and is about to literally beat him to death, probably, because he's so worked up over this, about how, you know, he keeps hurting people, killing people in the present and the future. You know, I can't take this anymore. And it's Aunt May, who somehow got down from the webbing. That was very impressive. But she comes up and comforts him, just saying, like, you know, this isn't you. I know, you know, it's all right. And Peter just, you know, kind of collapses into her arms, just kind of, and they have their moment. And going back to the Parker residence, J. Jonah Jameson regaling Aunt May with his tales of undoubted heroism, looking happy as a clam as he's doing it. Peter and Teresa are kind of catching up on the staircase.
Why is
I want to point out that Peter is actually sewing his mask as he repairs it.
What's that?
why is Jonah shirtless? Why is he in a wife beater in that?
He's got a wife beater.
That's weird.
I don't know, like he.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's even worse is the looks that May is giving him.
I noticed that. I noticed that. Look at May's giving Jonah.
Did she marry
I'm
his
just saying it's
dad?
just kind of, you know, what's the word I'm
Ew.
looking for? No. Going along with it. But Teresa reveals, she shows him the picture of that she found of their mother with her as a baby, saying like, no, we actually are brother and sister, and they actually have, it's a pretty heartwarming moment, realizing like, I, you know, have family, I have a sibling and everything. And Peter kind of reflects on everything that's happened in his life, that's kind of how he's grown from, you know, seeing himself now as a kid, how he's grown and all the experiences that have shaped him through that. Young Peter was listening in the whole time. He runs out to take out the trash. And he seems like he went through it okay, but we see that not all's well that ends well, because we have a new little twist on Spider-Man No More, and he takes his Spidey suit out with the trash.
I like that little last panel. That was kind of a nice little
It was good, yeah.
Yeah. What was your grade on it, Ashley? What do you give this one?
I gave this an A+.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I loved it.
Wow. Let's see, Zach, what would your grade be for it?
I give it an A. Nothing, no plus or minus, just an A. It's a fun story. I like how Norman probably behaves more in character in these 3 issues than we've seen in the last 10 years.
What I think is humorous this month, in Amazing and also Spec, Jonah has given Norman Peter's ID in 2 realities.
Yeah. True.
Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, I don't know, that probably wasn't planned, but it's funny that it coincide together. JR, what would your grade be on it?
Oh, you know, I give it a B. I mean, I really liked it, but this whole back and forth we're doing with the time travel and this weird story arc that just keeps going and going and going, you know, that kind of all weighs on it. But I gave it a B. It was a fun story.
How about you, Spencer?
Oh, I haven't read it.
Okay, George, have you read it?
No.
Okay, it's Zdarsky. Okay, I would give it a B too. I kind of like what JR said. I care 0 about the mission, which is the Tinkerer mission. That's just I don't care why we're here. I enjoy the back and forth. You know, actually, let's do pros out of Ashley since it's her review. What's your biggest pro, Ashley?
I just think there's a really sincere, very human element to the storytelling, the interactions between the characters. I love the little embrace between Aunt May and older Peter. That was really touching. Most of all, what really surprised me is, y'all know how much I've railed against Teresa Parker and how much I do not care. But when they have their kind of reunion, I'm like, this is a genuinely kind of heartwarming scene. And so while I don't really care about the motivations behind the scene, like it was a good moment for the characters, and I enjoyed that. I like the possibilities with the different twists about how they're affecting the timeline, and how maybe we can kind of, it opens the door to explore some classic stories, but with you know, different variations. So that could be fun. And most of all, like reading this, like I wanted to keep reading. I wanted to read more.
Yeah. The Teresa Parker thing, I think I may have figured it out. And I don't, you know how they always say Mike predicts things and doesn't come true, but I think Mike gets more right than he does. I suspect this picture is from an alternate reality. And I bet you Peter actually does have a sister in that reality, not the 616 reality. So I think maybe Teresa Parker is from this universe that we're in.
Brad.
What?
It's not the 616. It's the main universe. You got to get this. I mean, I can see Brevoort, you know, standing outside your door saying you're saying it wrong. It's no longer the 616.
Oh, is that what Brevoort would say? Then Brad, continue to say 616.
Yeah, Brevoort's the same one who said it didn't make sense for Norman to know that Peter was Spider-Man. So yeah, let's say, go right ahead, Zach.
I had to make the joke because
your Brevoort doesn't work. Anyway, I don't think Teresa Parker is Spider-Man's sister, and I think it's an alternate reality. I really, I don't think that's
Yeah, the other shoe's got to drop somewhere.
So as Action Gamer says on the chat, Teresa is to Peter what Cable is to Nate Gray.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Well, Cable and Nate Gray are the same thing. So
no, X-Man and
yeah, X-Man is a young Cable.
X-Men continuity makes my head hurt.
Okay. Ashley said her pros. What's some other pros out of the gang? The Norman stuff was cool.
I really like the way they colored the Norman. Always kind of had that shade of green.
Just a little seasick.
I mean, it made him look seasick, but I still kind of liked it. You know, I think Zach said, I mean, Norman's really in character. I mean, he's messing with Peter's mind. You know, he still gets under Peter's skin, and he's one person Peter genuinely wants to kill. So,
yeah. Can you hear my beagle through the window?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. About 3 different Spider-Man Goblin stories. Yeah.
Yeah. This very much reminded me of that episode of the 90s show, because half the episode he's, you know, didn't have the mask on. And clearly the artist is a fan of the 90s show and the in Spectacular Spider-Man, because it felt, you know, because it's just some of the storytelling elements we've talked about last time. I just liked how the artwork was. I'd like to see this guy be full-time. I like him better than Adam Kubert, and I know that's sacrilege to say, but
yeah, I think the artwork's better too.
I like this, and it may be because it's the inker with Kubert, because it's been very inconsistently inked, but like this artwork, I actually wouldn't mind him being there on full-time. And I know he did the artwork. I found out he did the artwork on the Howard the Duck special.
Yeah.
But he actually, this guy has done a really good job with
It was unique to see the classic Spider-Man moments with a twist, like Aunt May falling off the bridge, the trash can, the Spider-Man No More twist,
with a Ditko-esque Spider-Man, not a Romita Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. That was different.
Good stuff.
Any other thoughts on that book? Sure.
I like the fact that it was like a good old-fashioned comic book. I mean, you guys were talking about the art. This looked and felt like a good old-fashioned comic book.
Yes,
and not some of the crap we've been getting recently.
Did you like Peter was pushed that far to almost kill Norman, JR?
Well, yeah, I mean, Norman should. I mean, that Norman should be the one person that pushes Peter to do just that. You know, more or less. I mean, that's, you know, and I like the fact that Norman asked young Peter, "Why are you doing this?" You know, you've got some. It just kind of illustrates the difference in the two of them, how they've chosen to, you know, use their respective powers. You know, Norman just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Before we move on, I just want to say I really like both Peters in this. We see young Peter, like, even though he's been kidnapped, he's really holding his own, and he actually manages to free himself. He doesn't need older Peter's help. He breaks free himself. And then older Peter's reactions, I think, were really great. They're very, they felt really believable, like his panic. His thoughts were really jumbled. We didn't get some kind of slot-esque, like, you know, inner monologue where he's just kind of recapping all the events in his head in, like, these perfectly, you know, structured sentences. It felt a lot more, you know.
I'll tell you, one of the things that I've noticed about this, just kind of looking at the artwork, there's not a whole lot of inner monologue. There's not a lot of thought bubbles. They let the art dictate the story. Let the artist play to his strengths. I mean, that scene where he's beaten, like the final bit with Norman. You know, when Norman is being Norman, saying, "Is the older, wiser, smart enough to finish?" You know, and he's, you know, beating ass. I mean, Peter was beating ass. That's one thing I'll say. This. I'll say this. You know, George would enjoy the fact that Peter Parker's actually whipping ass in this issue. But yeah,
if George wasn't dead, he would enjoy it. I think George is dead.
George has died. He's decomposing.
He doesn't feel so good.
You don't.
Well done, Spencer.
Yeah.
Well done. He's thinking,
several people in the
You're
chat
not supposed to. You're not supposed to be funny. You know.
Several people in
we
the
might want
chat
to bring
say
him back.
they can't see me. Google Hangouts had a little hiccup, and for some reason my camera's not broadcasting for some reason, but I'm not stopping the broadcast. Zach has Free Comic Book Day that was released today.
It is released today. It is Free Comic Book Day for another minute here on the Central Time Zone.
That's funny. Take me through this issue, sir. Written by Nick Spencer. This is a taste of what we will have for several years potentially.
Yes, Free Comic Book Day, written by Nick Spencer. Ryan Otley coming over from Image to draw Spider-Man, so they put him on the high-profile book. On the front cover, we'll talk about the cover. We got Kingpin, we got Rhino, we got She-Electro.
Just call her Elektra.
Who's better in the MCU than she is in the 616?
Yeah. Boomerang,
and Peter Parker's got his Starbucks and donuts.
Yeah.
So first page, we have Peter kind of doing a little bit of a recap where he's punching Doc Ock in the face, because that's what he should have done a long time ago with Superior Spider-Man. But he talks about, you know, there's a desire to make sure no one ever else lost what he lost, and there's no other. But there are other reasons less discussed, like the views. Like he's talking about how he gets the unique vantage point of how New York looks. And then we cut to Peter Parker.
Real quick, what does the new artist draw under Spider-Man's arms?
Spidey's got his
pits.
He's got his web pits.
I've got web pits with the new artist. Okay.
So
and big feet.
Yeah, kind of big feet.
Look at those feet.
Big feet.
Man, those are big feet.
Well, you know what they say about big feet, buddy.
Big web shooter. Yeah.
Spencer says it's Rob Liefeld art.
A little bit better than Rob. So then Peter Parker's searching for an apartment, and we're flashing back to the Mackie Byrne era.
Yes, we are.
Or
Mackie Byrne reference.
We got him and Randy Robinson, son of Robbie, goes his boss of the Daily Bugle, one of the best friends and soon to be second-time roommate. They even referenced that. So they're looking for an apartment, and the view is of a dumpster.
Yep.
It's even better though. It's got two.
He's looking at 10 years of slot stories. Go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna need more than 2 dumpsters for that.
2 dumpsters, and they need to put it on fire.
1, 2, All right, then we cut to this will make Mr. George excited. We got Boomerang front and center. We got the Big Wheel and Elektra.
Yeah, and the Rhino.
And the Rhino, they're robbing the bank, and Peter's like, I gotta take pictures for the Bugle. And you're like, you're working the science division. He's like, that lady shoots electricity out of her fingers, Randy. That's science.
There you go.
So
here comes Big Feet Spider-Man to the rescue.
His feet aren't as big in this one, in this particular.
That's like a size 15.
Okay, whatever. Lord. The fact that you're focusing on the damn feet is weird. You got a foot fetish there, Douglas? Okay.
TMI.
George just had a nightmare. Hey, a television joke. What happens when you shoot video of feet? It's called footage. What?
Mighty.
I like it.
Thank you,
Brad. Before there was such thing as dad jokes, quote unquote.
I bet you, baby.
Oh, Brad, I have a dad joke for you.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Go ahead.
Okay. When does a joke become a dad joke?
What? When?
When the punchline becomes apparent.
Oh God.
Did you hear about the oranges that that did bad in school?
What?
They couldn't concentrate.
Okay. All right. The only person that's laughing is you.
You bet you, baby.
All right.
Okay,
so-
go ahead.
That's why for dad.
Anyway, Spidey, stops him and, basically he's like, yeah, you should, it makes me really appreciate how Letterman did it. Can you imagine?
Real quick, look at the cam.
I don't-
Look at the YouTube. We've lost George. We've lost George. Welcome back.
Hey, listen. Listen.
You just pulled a Bailey.
Listen, all right. At the top of this thing, 3 hours ago, I said, I am tapped.
I was about to say,
And
who's
I said-
acting like the old person now?
I said it would be perfect if we didn't go for like 4 hours or so. We're into 3,
Yeah.
so don't
Hey, we
blame
got
me.
I love that Bernardo said George is dead.
Spencer's killed him.
I'm used to hearing about bad comics. I shut down.
Enigma says at some point he was expecting George to suck his thumb.
George is too tired.
Oh, he was actually sleeping. At least
Okay.
move the camera to like a comfy chair. Well, then you really would fall asleep.
Meanwhile, Big Feet Spidey was punching Boomerang.
So he's fighting with Boomerang. There's a few little quips here, and then Rhino's like, "All of you with me, you cannot take us all at once." And Rhino runs right into a car, and then he's like, "Obnoxious, where are you?" "Over here, Antler Man." Love the hat, by the way. Very fuel efficient. Like, I like the quips in this one. And then Rhino apparently kills Boomerang by smashing a car against.
Not really.
They should have.
They should have, though.
Yeah.
So, Elektra sits there and says, "Hey, say hi to Max Dillon in hell." I guess they had a falling out. No, Peter, he died. That's exactly what happened. Clone conspiracy. And then, of course, she shorts out the systems for the Big Wheel. And then the Big Wheel's like going straight towards that apparently awful restaurant.
It's a pregnant woman with a kid. 2 kids.
Yeah.
With terrible taste, apparently.
Yeah.
And so Peter's like, "Come on, Spider-Man, you can do this."
You can do it.
And all by himself, he stops the Big Wheel.
Yes.
Yes.
You mean the Avengers didn't show up and help him?
Nope.
What?
He stops the Big Wheel
I
all by
like it.
himself.
I like it.
Then, of course, Boomerang and shows up, and all of a sudden, a friendly assist by the New York Police Department. Apparently, City of New York is now being ran by the Kingpin because of reasons.
Yep, he was elected. Read Daredevil.
It takes place before 601, so apparently something happened in 601.
Oh, I guess he's no longer the mayor.
And then Boomerang. Then of course there's some kryptonite in a bag.
True.
Before Boomerang uses his jetterang. What the hell is a jetterang? So Peter's like, "Hey, he's your problem now, Fisk." That kind of annoyed me, but we've only got a page left. So
yeah.
Anyway, so Randy found a great apartment. He thought it was a dump, but it was actually great
with a skylight. I love that. He's got a skylight again.
Yeah,
he hasn't had a skylight since the 80s.
And
sneak out of.
Randy was like, "I already called dibs, dude. You get the 3rd bedroom. What are we gonna do with the extra one? That's how we can afford it, dude. We have the first tenant. Hey-o, people." Or it should be, "Hey-o, people. Oh, I just checking out the cable situation. Either you guys got HBO Go a password I can borrow. I don't want to miss my bolus."
So
forget it. You must be Pete, huh? Put her there.
Your Australian accent has made George run from the room.
And
okay,
we get the final panel reveal of Boomerang, the Australian one.
Oh, Neil, that's not nice. He says your accents blow.
Oh, you, Neil. Yeah. To be continuing in July's Amazing
All right.
Spider-Man #1/802.
There you go. /802. All right, so let's go around the horn. Zach, what would you give it for a grade?
I give this an A. I enjoyed it.
Okay. All right.
I thought the artwork was good.
JR, you and your baked girl. Do D. Whoa,
D.
whoa, whoa.
Oh,
Spencer, what would you give it?
B.
Ooh,
Oh.
look at that. Look at that. Father
Go
and
to
son.
your room.
Civil War.
It's the Fettinger Civil War. I agree, Ashley. Very good. Ashley, what would you give it for a grade?
I'd give it an A. And also consider this.
Yes.
The roommate that is not only Boomerang, he apparently is Patrick Bateman. Look at that face.
Ooh, from American Psycho?
Yes, look at him.
Oh, that does look like
Is that a man you want living next to you?
that looks like Christian Bale, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Christian Bale is Patrick Bateman.
You know, I don't walk out the door that often and see a man and think, boy, I wish that man lived next to me. It's just not a thing that happens.
George, what would you give it for a grade?
I didn't read it.
Oh, I thought you did.
The free comic book day thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, hell no.
Okay. Well, it's Nick Spencer writing Superior Foes, kind of.
For a couple of tease pages.
Okay.
Call me when the Happy Meal comes in.
Well, I don't know if that's going to be a new saying or not. I would give it a B. Pros. What would you give? What are your pros out of the book? You gave it an A, Zach.
I did. I liked the artwork.
Mhm.
Beside, although Brad keeps pointing out how big the freaking feet are.
Dude, they're triple Fs, man.
My only kind of quibble is how he draws teeth. Kind of weird. It's a stylistic choice of his that I'm just not a huge fan of.
Hence Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember that what is
the rhino teeth look pretty good on the cover.
Yeah, that looks fine, but like Peter's teeth.
Every everyday Joe teeth. Okay.
But yeah, I like how everything kind of I like it just felt like more like a Spider-Man book. I know that it's a rehash of I referenced the Mackie Byrne era.
Yeah.
But when Paul Jenkins got a hold of that status quo, he actually did something with it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Do you like? Well, it is different having a roommate that's a supervillain. I mean that is different.
Yeah.
That's not been seen. We have seen Spider-Man living by himself with a skylight. We've not seen him try to hide his identity from two other people in the same house.
And one of them being a supervillain.
Yeah.
So
we've seen him hide it from Aunt May, but that's a different take, and I appreciate a new take.
I do like that there is at least some handoff of elements of Slott's run, and I know we wanted to
what?
break. The fact that he's still the science editor. I mean, that's
okay.
That's cool. That's stayed.
That can stay.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's one of the better developments that Slott's done the last year. I like how it just felt like that he was. I liked how he freaking stopped Big Wheel by himself without the Avengers showing up.
Think of how pathetic that sounds.
I know.
I'm glad Spider-Man could stop Big Wheel without the Avengers showing up.
True.
Baby steps.
Yep. Ashley, another pro out of you. What did you like most?
I just really loved the kind of the setup of this. It was a lot of fun. I liked the apartment hunting. I liked his interaction with the kind of the lease manager there, who is like, it's the garbage terrace, and those conversations as someone who lives in a shitty apartment I can relate. But I like the segue from, especially in the beginning, where he's swinging around like, Spider-Man. It's great being Spider-Man, having these views and everything, but then kind of the back to reality as Peter Parker. Things aren't as great as all that. But That was a good segue. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
The writing, just like the banter, was so much fun. Like I just found myself laughing a lot and like really enjoying it as I read.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Do you like the idea of a villain in the apartment with them?
Patrick Bateman being his roommate, yeah, that'll get pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when he starts bringing the no, I'm not going into the R-rated aspects of American Psycho.
George, I know you didn't read it.
What is Fred's name? Hang on.
Anyway, do you like the idea of a supervillain being in Spider-Man roommate? And it's
Fred Myers. Fred Myers.
Fred Myers.
It's whatever.
It leads to tension, leads to potential storytelling.
It feels like another gimmick.
Okay.
It feels like just another. It feels like they're setting them up for a sitcom or something like that. You know, it's just whatever.
Hornacek, I like that. Peter, do you like Huey Lewis? That's like something I would say because I'm a big Huey Lewis fan. Let's see. JR, you hated it, huh? You didn't like it.
Yeah, well, what made you think that?
Because you said you gave it a D.
I'm tired of going back to basics. I'm tired of, oh boy, we got loser Peter Parker again, and you're asking, is this a new thing, that he's got a supervillain roommate? The only roommate at this time that Spider-Man should have is Mary Jane. That's the only roommate he should have. That's the only roommate I'm interested in him having. I just find this whole thing to be an insult, absolute insult. This is, if this is going to be the type of stories that are told, I'm done after 801. I mean, I think I may just join George on that island yelling at clouds.
Did you like I liked the quippage pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the quippage was nice.
No, that's like that's like what is it? That's like what spraying perfume on pig shit or something. I mean, it's still pig shit. It may smell like you may get a whiff of perfume, but it's still pig shit. So
poor Spencer's getting love advice over here.
The bar was already set low for Spencer. I mean, coming in, Spencer. It's not like he had to.
Are you talking about Spencer Fettinger or Nick Spencer?
For both. But Nick Spencer didn't have to do a whole lot to just he could put out mediocre effort and still be better than what Slot's done for the last 10 years. So we'll see how 802 goes.
Yeah, 802. Okay. Any other thoughts on this issue before we wrap this episode up?
No, let's wrap it up because I'm very tired.
We noticed.
So hopefully it bodes well for the future of the post-Slot era.
Yeah. We won't get another Spencer issue until July.
Sorry, Spencer. See you in summer.
All right. Final thoughts, Zach.
All in all, I really enjoyed two of the issues this month. One of them was just kind of mediocre. So yeah.
Okay. JR.
No, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed a couple of the issues. I mean, why wouldn't I? They both have Norman in them. So
yeah, very Norman-centric month. Spencer, final thoughts.
Yeah, I enjoyed them. Who I read.
Cool. Thanks for being on this episode, by the way, or these last two, Spencer.
Oh yeah,
that's cool. And final thoughts, Ashley.
I'm as always surprised at how much I'm enjoying Spectacular, and it's nice to have something that has me want to keep turning the pages and looking forward to the next issue. So it's nice to have that feeling again after 3.5 years or so of being on the show and reading through Slot.
Yeah, that's true. Final thoughts, Sleepy Bear.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
You already asked me for my final thought. You let off with me.
I did?
Yeah.
Yes. You're
What-
Well, we're
drunk.
coming full circle.
Like you're just trying to keep me up, you ass.
Second,
Literally, you don't understand. The minute like we're like, okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I'm clicking the wrap. I'm doing like JR does, like bam, I'm gone. I'm asleep within 5 minutes. That's where I am right now. And you're like, oh, let's go back to
are we
Papa
doing-
Bear.
wait,
and I'm
are-
like, why?
Aren't we doing message board questions?
No.
you know,
Good
well,
night, everybody.
I should mention that I forgot to do message board questions on the Infinity War thing, but I looked over them and most all of them we addressed, with the exception of one thing. And let me pull it up real quick. I'm sorry, Papa Bear.
Do we want to discuss it if this episode is spoiler free?
Oh, that's true. Here, stop the episode if you don't want to hear any Infinity War.
Okay, that's
talk.
me. I'm going to bed.
All right. Good night, George. Good
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Real quick.
bed.
Where was it? Where was it?
He went.
He's gone.
Mr. Starkiller 360 says, I heard this in another podcast and I thought it'd be funny to share with you guys. Spider-Man's greatest power is that he reminds you that he is a child in the Infinity War movie.
Oh.
So I that is one point that I wanted to mention. What do you guys think of that?
Mm-hmm. I like it.
I think it's very true. I think it's very true.
Sometimes they're too on the nose with it, but I think it's important that that's where he is at this stage.
Yeah. So I apologize to the message board people that the show went long. We had some tech problems at the end, but pretty much all the questions that were asked on the message board were pretty much answered at some point during that hour and a half.
The only thing that the other one that I would think is Alistair. Alistair.
What was his question?
His question was, what does the panel think the hypothetical Joss Whedon version of Infinity War would have been like?
In the garbage.
In the garbage, really?
I'm not a fan.
Not even the first Avengers movie you didn't like?
First Avengers was like, I liked it, but it also felt really hokey in some ways.
Oh, I loved it.
I loved the first Avengers movie. The second Avengers movie, I think, just it crushed there was too much expectation.
I'm tired of Joss writing the same kind of woman over and over again, the same kind of female character.
That makes sense. But no, he said that his would have been less focused on Guardians and Thor, more on Cap and Iron Man. Yeah. Maintain his motivation from the comics instead of a new one. I still think we'll get an appearance by Lady Death before it's all set.
I hope so. Maybe Lady Death will embrace him at the end where Thanos dies.
Yeah.
My love.
I think Thanos will get a good death scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
who will kill Thanos? Who has the most motivation to kill Thanos?
It's not going to be
Gamora.
I think Cap should do it. I mean, I think this is where Captain America dies. Captain America picks up the axe because he's worthy, and because remember, because in Age of Ultron he starts to move Thor's hammer. But I mean that's really Captain America. I mean Captain America should die, and he should be worthy. Pick up Thor's axe and take down Thanos, and
pass on to Bucky.
And then you got Bucky Cap. So,
but Steve should have his. He should use both the shield and the axe, and boom, go to town.
That'd be awesome.
I really like Mike's idea where he said that they would, go and get the Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity Stones for themselves, the original Avengers, and they would kind of all do it together and use that.
I do like this.
Thanos being taken out with the Infinity Gauntlet and the stones, that being used to defeat him. And that it being distributed amongst the original Avengers.
I like the fact that there's the symmetrical aspect of how you have the original Avengers that started this thing with Thanos inadvertently, end it with end this thing with Thanos in the final movie.
Mm-hmm. How about the Silver Surfer comes in?
I think. I think we'll get it. I think we'll get the post credits tease will be the X-Men.
Really?
I really do.
No, isn't Fox doing? They have a whole trilogy planned for Dark Phoenix.
I think
they do.
I know they're doing reshoots, but I don't. I don't know if they were going to.
Boy, that would be cool to have the FF at the end or something like that.
I
That
did
would
see
be fun.
Fantastic Four at the end.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Freaking fantastic.
Like Emily Blunt and the John what's his last name? Krasinski. Those two, and someone is Chris
I
Evans.
like Michael Chiklis.
Chris Evans is Human Torch.
Oh my god.
I liked Michael Chiklis as Ben.
I did too. The suit sucked on all 3 movies for Thing.
I didn't hate the suit with Thing. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
It's gonna be sad that Doug Jones can't come back as Silver Surfer because Doug Jones is perfect.
Yeah, he was good as Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
All right, gang. I think that's a wrap. YouTubers, thank you for watching all this time. I predict I'm going to like Deadpool 2 more than Infinity War.
Is that fair?
They're not the same type of movie.
Yeah.
I like Black Panther better than Infinity War.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, gang. Thank you again. That is a wrap.
We're done.
All right. Let me stop. All right, gang. We're not